Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Daily English Lab podcast. Imagine this. You've been studying English for years. You can read novels, you understand news broadcasts, you ace grammar tests. Then you visit the United States and someone says, "That's fire," or "no cap," or "I'm dead," and you have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. Welcome to the world of American slang. Here's the brutal truth. Textbooks teach you formal English, but Americans speak in slang. And if you don't understand slang, you'll miss at least 30% of casual conversations. You'll laugh at the wrong times, you'll miss jokes, you'll feel like an outsider, even though you speak English well. But here's the good news. I'm about to give you a crash course in the most common American slang that you need to understand real conversations. Not outdated slang from the 1990s. Current slang that Americans are using right now, today in 2025. In the next 25 minutes, we're going to test your slang knowledge, teach you what you don't know, and turn you into someone who can finally understand what Americans are actually saying. Ready to pass the slang test? Let's jump in. Hey everyone, welcome back once again to the Daily English Lab podcast. I'm your English coach, and today we're doing something a little different. We're focusing on American slang because this is the gap between textbook English and real-world English that frustrates so many learners. So why am I so passionate about teaching slang? Because I've watched countless students who have excellent English skills feel completely lost in casual American conversations. They understand business English, they understand academic English, but when Americans start using slang, everything falls apart. And here's what's frustrating. Slang isn't optional if you want to truly connect with Americans. Slang is how we express emotions, build rapport, sound casual, and show personality. When you don't understand slang, you miss the emotional context of conversations. You can't fully participate in the culture. Today, I'm going to test you on 25 common slang terms and phrases that Americans use constantly. For each one, I'll give you the slang, explain what it means, show you how it's used in context, and give you the cultural background so you understand not just what it means, but when and why Americans use it. We'll break this into 5 categories: slang for emotions and reactions, slang for describing people, slang for situations and experiences, slang for agreement and disagreement, and finally, slang that's generational and age-specific. This is going to be 25 minutes of pure, practical slang education. By the end, you'll understand way more of what Americans are actually saying in real life. Before we start, tell me in the comments, what's the most confusing American slang you've ever heard? What word or phrase completely baffled you? I want to hear your stories. And if you're serious about understanding real American English, not just textbook English, hit that subscribe button and like this video. I create content like this regularly to bridge the gap between classroom English and street English. All right, let's test your slang knowledge. How Americans really express feelings. Let's start with emotional slang, the words and phrases Americans use to express how they feel about something. These are crucial because emotional communication is where slang appears most frequently. When Americans get excited, frustrated, surprised, or disappointed, we don't usually say, "I am very excited," or "that is unfortunate." We use slang. If you don't know this slang, you'll completely miss the emotional tone of conversations. The biggest mistake learners make with emotional slang is taking it literally. "I'm dead" doesn't mean someone died. "That's fire" doesn't mean something is burning. These are figurative expressions, and you need to understand the real meaning behind the words. Let's go through the most common emotional slang. "That's fire" or "that's lit" means something is amazing, excellent, really good, usually used for music, parties, food, experiences. Example, "Did you try that new restaurant?" "Yeah, it was fire." Meaning, the restaurant was excellent. Example, "This party is lit," meaning this party is really fun and exciting. "I'm dead" means something is so funny that you're laughing extremely hard. It doesn't mean you're literally dying. Example, someone tells a hilarious joke and you say, "Oh my God, I'm dead." Meaning, that was so funny I can't stop laughing. Example, "That meme has me dead." Meaning, that meme is hilarious. No cap means no lie. I'm being serious. I'm telling the truth. Cap means lying, so no cap means not lying. Example, that movie was amazing, no cap. Meaning, that movie was genuinely amazing. I'm not exaggerating. Example, she's the smartest person I know, no cap. Meaning, I'm seriously telling the truth about her intelligence. I'm low-key or I'm high-key means I'm kind of or I'm really. Low-key is subtle, high-key is obvious. Example, I'm low-key tired, meaning I'm kind of tired but not saying it loudly. Example, I'm high-key obsessed with this show, meaning I'm very obviously and intensely obsessed with this show. It slaps means it's really good, usually used for music or food. Example, this song slaps, meaning this song is excellent. Example, these tacos slap, meaning these tacos are delicious.
Let's practice using these in context. I'll give you a situation. You think about which slang fits. Situation 1. Your friend shows you an amazing new song. You say, this song slaps, or this is fire. Situation 2. Someone shows you a hilarious video. You say, I'm dead. Situation 3. You're telling someone your favorite restaurant is really good. You say, that place is fire, no cap. Try creating your own sentences with these slang terms right now. Say them out loud. Get comfortable with the sound and rhythm. Think of emotional slang as exaggeration language. Americans love to exaggerate emotions for emphasis. We're not just happy, we're dead from laughing. Things aren't just good, they're fire. Remember that these terms are about amplifying emotion, and you'll start to understand the pattern. I remember my student Kenji from Japan who was confused when his American roommate said, dude, this ramen is fire. Kenji thought there was something wrong with the food. Maybe it was too spicy or burning hot. He didn't realize fire meant excellent. He later told me he spent weeks being confused by slang until he started actively learning it. Once he understood the pattern, American conversations suddenly made so much more sense. Quick question. Have you ever heard I'm dead and been confused about what it meant? Drop a comment if emotional slang has confused you. Let's normalize the confusion so we can move past it together. Okay, emotional slang covered, but Americans also have tons of slang for describing people, and some of it can sound pretty harsh if you don't understand the context. Let's dive into that next. The good, the bad, and the complicated. Americans use slang to describe people's personalities, appearances, and behaviors. Some of this slang is complimentary, some is insulting, and some is neutral. You need to know the difference. If someone calls you salty or basic or savage, you need to know if that's a compliment or an insult. Misunderstanding these terms can lead to awkward social situations or hurt feelings. The mistake here is assuming slang for describing people is always negative. Some terms that sound negative are actually compliments in context. Also, tone matters a lot with these terms. The same word can be playful or mean depending on how it's said. Let's break down common slang for describing people. Salty means bitter, upset, or annoyed about something, usually in a petty way. Example, why are you so salty about losing the game? Meaning, why are you so annoyed and bitter about it? Example, she got salty when I said I didn't like her idea. Meaning, she became noticeably upset. Basic means boring, mainstream, unoriginal, following all the trends without originality. Example, she only drinks pumpkin spice lattes and wears Ugg boots. So basic, meaning she's very mainstream and predictable. This is usually mildly insulting, suggesting someone lacks uniqueness. Savage means bold, brutally honest, or impressively ruthless in a funny way. This can be a compliment. Example, did you hear what she said to him? That was savage, meaning she said something brutally honest and bold. Example, he's savage on social media, meaning he posts bold, unfiltered content. Extra means over the top, dramatic, doing too much. Example, she brought 3 costume changes to a casual party. She's so extra, meaning she's being overly dramatic and excessive. Example, stop being extra, it's not that serious, meaning stop overreacting. GOAT is an acronym, greatest of all time, used to describe someone extremely talented or the best at something. Example, LeBron James is the GOAT, meaning he's the greatest basketball player of all time. Example, my grandma is the GOAT at making cookies, meaning she makes the best cookies ever. Karen refers to an entitled, demanding, usually middle-aged woman who complains excessively and asks for the manager. This is negative. Example, She's being such a Karen right now, meaning she's complaining unreasonably and being entitled. Simp means someone who does too much for someone they're attracted to, often without reciprocation, usually used for guys pursuing girls. Example, he bought her gifts even though she doesn't like him. He's such a simp, meaning he's trying too hard for someone who isn't interested. This term can be playful or genuinely insulting depending on context.
Let's practice identifying these terms. I'll describe a situation. You tell me which slang term fits. Situation 1. Someone is being overly dramatic about a minor issue. Answer: they're being extra. Situation 2. Your friend is annoyed because they lost a game. Answer: they're being salty. Situation 3. Someone is incredibly talented at their job. Answer: they're the GOAT. Try to use these terms yourself this week. The more you use them, the more natural they'll become. For people describing slang, think about the emotional tone. Is it playful teasing? Genuine insult? Admiration? The context and tone tell you how to interpret the word. Savage with a smile is a compliment. Savage with annoyance might be criticism. My student Maria from Spain once heard her American coworkers say, "Rachel is so extra," and Maria thought it meant Rachel was special or exceptional. So Maria said to Rachel, "You're so extra," trying to compliment her. Rachel looked confused and a bit offended. Maria later learned that extra means over the top, not exceptional. We had a long discussion about how slang for people can be tricky because tone and context matter so much. After that, Maria started asking Americans, is that a good thing or a bad thing when she heard new slang, which is a smart strategy. Have you ever used slang wrong and accidentally insulted someone or confused them? Share your story in the comments. These mistakes happen to everyone, and they're usually pretty funny in hindsight. All right, you now know emotional slang and people describing slang, but Americans also have tons of slang for describing situations and experiences. And some of these phrases make absolutely no logical sense if you take them literally. Let's decode them. When life gets slangy. Americans use slang to describe what's happening in their lives, how situations are going, and what experiences feel like. This category is huge because it covers everyday life. When someone asks, "How's work?" and you hear, "It's a vibe," or "It's mid," or "It's been rough," you need to understand what they're actually communicating. This slang helps you gauge people's situations and respond appropriately. The mistake is interpreting situational slang too literally. "It's a vibe" doesn't mean there's a literal vibration. "I'm vibing" doesn't mean you're shaking. These are abstract expressions about feelings and atmospheres. Let's go through common situational slang. "It's a vibe" or "I'm vibing" means the atmosphere is good. I'm enjoying the mood or feeling. Example, "How's the party?" "It's a vibe," meaning the atmosphere is great. People are enjoying themselves. Example, "What are you doing?" "Just vibing at home, listening to music," meaning just relaxing and enjoying myself. Mid means mediocre, average, not impressive, short for middle or medium. Example, "How was the movie?" It was mid," meaning it was okay, but nothing special. Example, "This restaurant is mid," meaning the food is average, not worth special praise. Hits different means something feels especially good or meaningful in a particular context. Example, "Coffee in the morning just hits different," meaning morning coffee is especially enjoyable. Example, "That song hits different when you're sad," meaning the song has more emotional impact when you're sad. Living rent-free in my head means you can't stop thinking about something or someone. Example, "That embarrassing moment from 5 years ago still lives rent-free in my head," meaning I think about it constantly even though I don't want to. Example, "That song is living rent-free in my head," meaning I can't get it out of my mind. Touch grass means go outside, get some perspective, you're too online or detached from reality. Example, "You've been arguing on Twitter for 3 hours, go touch grass," meaning step away from the internet and reconnect with real life. Main character energy means acting like you're the protagonist of a movie, confident and living your best life. Example, "She walked into the party with main character energy," meaning she entered confidently as if she owned the place. Left on read means someone read your message but didn't respond, used to express feeling ignored. Example, I asked him out and he left me on read, meaning he read my message but didn't reply, which feels like rejection. Caught in 4K means caught doing something wrong with clear evidence. Example, he said he wasn't at the party, but someone posted a video. Caught in 4K, meaning there's clear video evidence proving he lied.
Let's test your understanding. Match the situation to the slang. Situation 1. You're at a coffee shop, the music is good, everyone's relaxed and happy. You say, "This place is a vibe." Situation 2. Someone asks about a restaurant you tried. It was okay, but nothing special. You say, "It was mid." Situation 3. A friend has been on social media for hours complaining about minor things. You tell them, "Touch grass." Practice these in your own life. When you're in situations that match these descriptions, try using the slang internally to build familiarity. For situational slang, think about the emotional undertone. Vibe is positive relaxation. Mid is neutral disappointment. Hits different is pleasant surprise. Touch grass is gentle criticism. Understanding the emotional context helps you remember and use these correctly. I had a student, Ahmed from Egypt, who heard Americans saying that hits different, and he thought it meant something was wrong or broken. He was at a restaurant with American friends who said, "This burger hits different," and Ahmed said, "Oh, no, should we send it back?" Everyone laughed and explained that hits different means it's especially good. Ahmed later told me he keeps a slang journal where he writes down phrases he hears and their meanings. That's actually a brilliant strategy I recommend to all my students. Okay, real talk. Which of these situational slang terms have you heard before, and which are completely new to you? Let me know in the comments what your slang knowledge level is. We're cruising through this slang test, but now we need to talk about agreement and disagreement slang because Americans have very specific ways of saying yes, no, I agree, and I disagree without actually using those words. This next section is crucial for conversations. Americans rarely just say yes or I agree in casual conversation. We use slang to express agreement, disagreement, enthusiasm, and skepticism. Understanding these is crucial for following conversations. If someone says facts or bet or cap, they're expressing agreement or disagreement. If you don't recognize these, you'll miss crucial conversational cues about whether people agree with you or think you're wrong. The mistake is not recognizing when someone is agreeing or disagreeing because they didn't use traditional words. Facts doesn't mean they're stating facts. Bet doesn't mean they're gambling. These are agreement terms. Let's break down agreement and disagreement slang. Facts means I completely agree. That's true, you're right. Example, person A says, "This weather is terrible." Person B says, "Facts," meaning I completely agree. Example, working from home is so much better. Facts, meaning that's absolutely true. Bet means, okay, sounds good, I agree, I'm in. Example, want to grab lunch? Bet, meaning yes, let's do it. Example, meet me at 7. Bet, meaning, okay, I'll be there. For sure or for real means definitely, absolutely, I agree completely. Example, that movie was terrible. For real, meaning I completely agree. Example, can you help me later? For sure, meaning definitely, yes. Say less means you don't need to explain more. I understand. I'm in. I agree. Example, want to go to that new restaurant tonight? Say less, meaning, yes, I'm definitely interested. You don't need to convince me. Cap means lie or lying. So if someone says that's cap, they mean that's a lie. I don't believe him. Example, you're capping right now, meaning you're lying right now. Remember, no cap means no lie, but just cap means lie. I'm not gonna lie, or not gonna lie, or NGO, is a phrase Americans use before stating an opinion, meaning to be honest. Example, not gonna lie, I didn't like that movie, meaning to be honest, I thought the movie was bad. Example, NGL, I'm pretty tired, meaning I'm honestly feeling tired. Fair or fair enough means I understand your point, I accept that, that makes sense. Example, I can't go out tonight, I have work early. Fair, meaning I understand and accept your reason. Hard pass means definitely no, I'm not interested at all. Example, want to go skydiving? Hard pass, meaning absolutely not, I have zero interest. Let's practice responding with slang. I'll make a statement, you respond with appropriate slang. Statement 1. We should get pizza for dinner. You respond, bet, or say less. Statement 2. I think that restaurant is overpriced. You respond, facts, or for real. Statement 3. Want to wake up at 5 a.m. to exercise? You respond, hard pass. Try using these in real conversations this week. They'll feel unnatural at first, but that's normal. Keep practicing. For agreement slang, remember that Americans love being enthusiastic and emphatic. Instead of a simple yes, we say bet, say less, facts. We amplify agreement. For disagreement, we're often indirect. Instead of I disagree, we say that's cap or hard pass. Understanding this cultural tendency helps you predict and remember slang. One of my favorite slang confusion stories involves Luis from Mexico, who heard his American coworkers saying bet all the time. He thought they were literally betting money on things. When someone said, want to get coffee, and another person said, bet, Luis thought they were making a wager about coffee. It took him weeks to realize bet just means okay or sounds good. Once he understood, he started using it himself and felt so much more integrated into casual office conversations. That one word changed his social experience at work. Challenge time. In the comments, practice using slang. Write a sentence using facts, bet, say less, or cap. Let's practice together in the comment section. All right, you're doing amazing. We've covered emotions, people, situations, and agreement. But there's one final category that's super important: generational slang. Different age groups use different slang, and you need to know what's current versus what's outdated. Let's talk about that. What's in and what's out? Slang changes rapidly, and different generations use different terms. What was cool in 2010 is cringe in 2025. You need to know what's current so you don't sound outdated. Using outdated slang is worse than using no slang at all. If you say, that's rad, or that's groovy, you'll sound like you learned English from old movies. Current slang makes you sound contemporary and culturally aware. The mistake is learning slang from old textbooks, movies, or TV shows and not realizing it's outdated. Another mistake is trying to use young people's slang when you're older, which can sound like you're trying too hard. Let's talk about current versus outdated slang and age-appropriate usage. Current Gen Z slang, born late 1990s to early 2010s. Slay means you're doing something amazing, killing it. Example, she sang that song perfectly. She slayed, meaning she did an amazing job. Vibe check, assessing someone's mood or the general atmosphere. Example, vibe check. Everyone doing okay? Meaning, how's everyone feeling? Bussin' means really good, usually for food. Example, these tacos are bussin', meaning these tacos are delicious. Understood the assignment means someone did exactly what they were supposed to do, perfectly. Example, she wore the perfect outfit. She understood the assignment, meaning she nailed it. Outdated slang you should avoid. Cool beans was popular in the 90s, now sounds very dated. Groovy from the 60s and 70s sounds ancient now. Rad, 80s slang for cool, less common now. Tight, 2000 slang for cool, less common now. Bling, 2000 slang for expensive jewelry, rarely used now. Millennial slang that's still acceptable. Lit, still used but becoming less trendy. Ghosting, still very current, means disappearing without explanation. Adulting, still used, means doing grown-up responsibilities. FOMO, fear of missing out, still relevant. Age-appropriate usage. If you're over 30, using heavy Gen Z slang might sound forced. It's okay to understand it, but you don't need to use all of it. Stick to widely used terms that cross generations. If you're learning English as a second language, focus on slang that's mainstream and cross-generational rather than niche teenage slang. Test yourself. Which of these is current and which is outdated? That's lit. Still acceptable, but trending toward dated. That's groovy. Very outdated. That's bussin'. Current, especially among younger people. That's rad. Outdated. When you hear new slang, check online resources or ask native speakers if it's current. Slang has a shelf life. To stay current with slang, follow young Americans on social media. TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter are where new slang emerges. You don't have to use all of it, but observing it keeps you updated. Also, when in doubt, ask. Americans usually enjoy explaining slang to learners.
I worked with a 45-year-old businessman from Germany named Klaus, who learned English from 90s movies. He would say things like, "That's totally radical, dude," and "cool beans" at business meetings. People were polite, but I could tell they found it odd. We updated his slang knowledge to current, neutral terms. He started saying, "That's great," or "sounds good," instead of dated slang. Immediately, his professional credibility improved. Sometimes, no slang is better than outdated slang, especially in professional contexts. Final question for this section. What's your age group, and do you feel comfortable using current slang, or does it feel unnatural? Let me know in the comments. Age and slang comfort is a real thing, and there's no shame in sticking to more neutral language. You've now learned slang across 5 major categories. But before we wrap up, I need to warn you about 3 critical mistakes people make when trying to use slang. Let's make sure you avoid these pitfalls. Now that you know all this slang, don't sabotage yourself with these 3 common mistakes. Mistake number 1, using too much slang at once. This is huge. You just learned 25 slang terms, and you might be tempted to use them all immediately. Don't. It sounds forced and unnatural. Native speakers don't use 20 slang terms in one conversation. They sprinkle slang naturally throughout their speech. Start by incorporating 1 or 2 slang terms per day into your conversations. Let it build organically. If you suddenly start talking entirely in slang, people will think you're trying too hard. Mistake number 2, using slang in inappropriate contexts. Slang is for casual conversation. Don't use heavy slang in job interviews, formal presentations, professional emails, or with people significantly older than you or in positions of authority. "Hey boss, that meeting was lit, no cap?" sounds ridiculous and unprofessional. Know your context. Casual friends? Slang is fine. Professional setting? Keep it minimal or avoid it. Mistake number 3, not paying attention to tone and delivery. Slang isn't just about the words. It's about how you say them. That's fire said with enthusiasm is positive. That's fire said with sarcasm is mocking. You're extra said with a smile is playful teasing. You're extra said with annoyance is an insult. Tone, facial expression, and context matter enormously. Don't just memorize slang words. Pay attention to how native speakers use them emotionally and socially. Let's quickly recap the 5 categories of American slang we covered today. Category 1, emotional slang. Terms like fire, lit, I'm dead, no cap, and it slaps help Americans express feelings with emphasis and exaggeration. Category 2, people describing slang. Words like salty, basic, savage, extra, goat, and simp are used to describe personalities and behaviors, sometimes as compliments, sometimes as insults. Category 3, situational slang. Phrases like it's a vibe, mid, hits different, living rent-free, and touch grass describe experiences and situations in colorful ways. Category 4, agreement and disagreement. Terms like facts, bet, say less, cap, and hard pass replace traditional yes and no in casual conversation. Category 5, generational slang. Terms like slay, bussin', and understood the assignment versus outdated terms like rad and groovy. Stay current to stay relevant.
Use this slang thoughtfully, contextually, and gradually. You don't need to master all of it overnight. Start with a few terms that resonate with you and build from there. You just completed the ultimate American slang test. You now understand 25 essential slang terms that will help you decode real American conversations, movies, social media, and everyday interactions. Here's your homework. Pick 3 slang terms from today's video that you want to start using. Write them in the comments along with a sentence using each one. Let's practice together in the comments section. If this video finally helped you understand what Americans are actually saying, smash that like button and subscribe. Next week, I'm revealing the 5 grammar mistakes that native speakers make all the time, which means you can relax about perfect grammar. You don't want to miss that. Remember, slang isn't about being cool or trendy. It's about understanding culture and connecting with people. You don't have to use all the slang you learned today, but understanding it will transform your comprehension of American English. Stop feeling lost in American conversations. Start understanding the slang. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep learning, keep vibing, and keep leveling up your English. Let's master real American English together.